All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a question today that, well, it seems super simple, right? But it's actually one of the biggest, most complicated puzzles in all of science. The question is, what is intelligence? So let's really get into it. I mean, we all have a gut feeling about what intelligence is, don't we? But, for the folks who study this stuff, scientists, philosophers, engineers, this is a huge debate. The answer? Yeah, it's anything but obvious. Okay, so for a lot of people, the first thing that pops into their head is probably learning, right? It's that ability to just soak up information, learn new things, kind of like you do in school.
Or maybe you picture that brilliant mind, totally locked in on pure logic and reasoning. Someone who can just see patterns, think way outside the box, and just crack these incredibly tough problems.
But hold on, let's step out of the classroom for a second. What about the most basic, most primal kind of intelligence there is? Survival. I mean, the ability to just adapt and make it in a harsh world. That's gotta count for something, right? A big something. And then there's creativity. That spark of imagination. It's not just about solving the problems that are right in front of you. It's about dreaming up things that have never existed before. That's gotta be in the mix too. And this right here is the core of the whole puzzle. There is no single easy answer. Seriously, ask 100 experts and you might get 100 different definitions. It's wild. Each one is looking at a different piece of this amazing, complex idea. Okay, so how do we even start to untangle this mess? Well, let's start with what we know best. Let's look at the definitions that are all about, well, us. The human-centered ones.
Yeah, you know the ones I'm talking about. Being able to use what you know, remember stuff, solve tricky problems, think logically, plan for the future, all that good stuff. These are the things we're taught to value, right? The stuff that gets you good grades and helps you climb the career ladder. It's all very practical and very human.
But, and this is a big but, this is where that simple, human-first idea starts to fall apart. Because what if intelligence isn't some fixed thing you can measure, like your height? What if it completely depends on where you are? Think about that for a second. That idea changes the entire game. It means being smart isn't about having a high score on some test. It's about being good at surviving and thriving in your world, in your culture. And here's a perfect example that just drives this point home. Picture a driver from, say, the US. They're a good driver, right? They follow all the rules, they signal, they stay in their lane. Perfect. Now, take that same person and drop them into the middle of traffic in Karachi. It's chaos, it's unpredictable. And their old rule-following habits, they're not just useless, they're dangerous. They'd be a terrible driver there, maybe even an unintelligent one, because they can't adapt on the fly. So, who's the more intelligent driver? The American or the one from Karachi? And the answer, of course, is it depends. It's all about the context. Each one is a genius in their own environment. Okay, now this is where things get really wild. Let's take this whole intelligence depends on context idea and push it beyond humans altogether. I mean, the natural world is just teeming with mind-blowing intelligence. You've got ants who work together like a single giant brain to solve incredible problems. You have bees doing this little waggle dance that's basically giving out precise GPS coordinates for the best flowers. Get this, even plants can recognize their caretakers and send warnings through their roots. And hey, we think dolphins are so smart, but from a pure not going extinct survival point of view, sharks are doing way better in their environment. And a huge piece of this puzzle is perception. We kind of walk around thinking we see the world as it truly is, but we don't. Not even close. Our senses are so limited. An eagle can spot its lunch from miles away. A moth is hearing sounds that are completely silent to us. And a dog's nose, it's smelling a whole universe of information in this room that you and I have no clue about. They're living in a completely different reality, and their intelligence is built for that reality. So, okay, we've got intelligence that changes with location, that's different for every species. How in the world do we come up with one definition that can actually cover all of that? A definition that works for a driver in Karachi, a bee looking for pollen, and, I don't know, a robot trying to find its way across a room? Well, it turns out there's this beautifully simple framework that can actually do it. It breaks it all down into 5 simple steps. Ready? First, you've got an agent. That's just a fancy word for the thing, whether it's a person, an animal, a robot, whatever. Second, that agent is in an environment,
like a city or a forest. Third, it uses perception, its senses, to figure out what's going on in that environment. Fourth, based on what it perceives, it takes actions. And finally, fifth, it does all this to achieve a goal, like finding food or passing an exam. See? Agent, environment, perception, action, goal. That simple loop can describe intelligence in just about anything.
And why is this framework so important? Well, it's the absolute key when we shift from just understanding intelligence to actually trying to build it, trying to create artificial intelligence. So first, let's just be clear on the word artificial. What does it mean? It's simple, really. It just means it's made by people, not by nature. It's a copy. Like artificial strawberry flavor is a copy of the real thing, or a toy car is a copy of a real car. So it makes perfect sense, right? When we talk about artificial intelligence, what we're really talking about is trying to build a copy of that five-step process we just laid out. We're trying to build an artificial agent that can perceive, act, and achieve goals, just like the real, natural intelligence we see everywhere. And that brings us to one last really big question to chew on. We've seen that natural intelligence isn't just one thing. It's like a whole universe filled with countless different stars. So when we're building AI, what's the end game? Are we just trying to make a copy of one tiny star in that massive universe, our own human intelligence? Or are we trying to build a brand new star, something the universe has never seen before?